Hi, this is a revision video for the test on proportion. Hopefully you've actually attempted the questions first that were shared on the PDF. It covers recognizing whether a situation is proportional, completing a proportionality table, and calculating and using a percentage. You'll be shown a couple of different methods on some of these questions, so take the time to reflect on the methods presented and make sure when you're answering the questions in the test you show a full written method for every question. So first question here, we've got two tables and we're asked to determine whether the tables show a relationship that is proportional, and if it is, then you need to complete the table. So if we look at the very first one here, table A, we have two gaps, so we can't identify the missing numbers yet. We need to see whether the table is proportional, so we work on this section here. And we can see here that to go from 2 to 12, we would multiply by 6. I'm just going to write that on. And to go from 3 to 18, I would also multiply by 6. It would be the same function, the same multiplication. And therefore, if these two are the same, this shows a relationship that is proportional. So therefore, I can work out my missing numbers. I'm going to start with the one on the right because it carries on with my multiplying by 6. And I've got 4 here, so if I do 4 multiplied by 6, that gives you 24. So 24 is the missing number here. And on the one on the left, I'm trying to go the opposite way. I'm going from here to here. So I'm not multiplying by 6, I'm doing the opposite of multiplying by 6. And the opposite of that is dividing by 6. 9 divided by 6. You could write that as a fraction, or you could simplify that and have it as a decimal. And 9 divided by 6 would be 1.5. There's 1.5 sixes in 9. So if you weren't sure where the 6 came from, just going back here to work at this multiplier, just do 12 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6, so that's my multiplier here, and the same here. So that relationship is proportional. I missed out this bit here. I need to circle, yes, it is proportional. You need to tell the examiner that it is. Looking at the next one then, I have one missing number, and I have 3 pairs of numbers. Let's have a look. So to go from 1 to 4, well, 4 divided by 1 is 4, so my multiplier here is multiplied by 4. Looking at the second one, 12 divided by 3, 12 divided by 3 is also 4, so this is looking good. This looks like it's proportional. But I have another pair of numbers on the right. I need to check that these work. And when I do 30 divided by 7, I get some ridiculous number, which is 4.2 something or other. 4.2857, and it carries on and it carries on. So it's not 4. So therefore, I don't have the same multiplier each time, so therefore I do not have a situation that's proportional, so I circle no, and I leave this missing one blank. I cannot fill this in because I don't know what the relationship is. On question 2, we have two proportionality grids, and we want to find what we call the fourth proportional. There's a missing number here. So I could use the method I've used before when I'm looking at the multiply here, and I go from here to here, I'm multiplying by 3, so therefore I want to divide by 3. From here to here, I'm multiplying by 2.5, and then I can divide by 2.5. But I'm not going to show that method. The method I'm going to use is the one finding the fourth proportional. Sometimes you're asked in a test to actually show that as a method itself. So this is what I'm going to put it on here, fourth proportional. And we use it when we basically have a grid like this. In the first one, I got a missing number. I'm going to call that A. I have the other numbers here, which I have is 9, 3, and 24. Now, when we have a missing value here, to find this one out, I multiply together the two numbers I have that are diagonal to each other, and I divide by the other number. So A is simply going to be 3 multiplied by 24, and then divide that by 9. If I work that through, and you'll be allowed to use a calculator in the exam, that will give you the answer of 8. So A equals 8. My missing value here is 8. For the second one, I'm going to call the missing value B. And B is found by multiplying the two numbers that are diagonal and dividing by the third value. So B equals 2 multiplied by 25 divided by 5 And when I work that through, I get the answer of 10. Make a note, it doesn't matter where my unknown is. It could be in any of the 4 positions. The method is always the same. Multiply the 2 numbers that you know are diagonal to each other and divide by the other one. Question number 3. Work out the following showing your calculations. And here we have 4 different percentages of 4 different amounts. Now for each of these, I'm going to create a little table. I'm going to do it with the table method. So let me just make my pen slightly smaller. And we're going to do we'll do A here. So I want 10% of 90. So I'm going to draw my little table. I want to find 10%. So I don't know what 10% is, so I'm going to call it A. I know what 100% is, because 100% is my 90. When you have of something in a test, that is my 90. That's my 100%. Okay, my 90 is my 100%. So I line those up together. 90 is 100%. A is the amount I want to find, and A is my 10%. Now I can just find my fourth proportional, as you've just seen on the previous slide. So A is equal to 10 times 90 divided by 100. Make sure you write that down for the examiner. So A equals 10 times 90 divided by 100. And that gives you the answer of 9. So going on to the second one. In the second one, I'm going to do another grid as before. Now what have I got? 40% of 120. So the 40% is the thing I'm trying to find. So I'm going to call that B. B is my 40%. And it's of 120. So 120 is my 100%. As long as you can identify the 100%, you should be able to solve the questions. My grid now is ready to be done as the fourth proportional. So B equals 40 multiplied by 120 divided by 100. Put that into a calculator and you will get the answer of 48. And what this means is that 48 is 40% of 120. Now you can use this method for the other 2 questions. I'm going to show you a different method that you may want to consider using, but you do not have to. You can stick with the fourth proportional. It will always work as long as you set your table out correctly. So looking at C. Now with C, we want 17% of 200. Now, percentage means out of 100. If you remember, I showed you in the class that if you take the percentage symbol and you actually rotate it, it becomes a division symbol. And if you break it up, it's actually made up of a 1 and 2 zeros. So percentage basically means divide by 100. So what I can do is with my 17% of 200, I can do 17 divided by 100, and then I can multiply by my 200. 17 divided by 100 is 0.17. Multiply by my 200. What do I get? I get an answer of 34. 34 is 17% of 200. Now the calculation, actually, if you compare it to the calculation for the proportionality grid, is exactly the same calculation. You're multiplying 2 numbers and dividing by the other one. But we've just done it in a slightly different way. You're welcome to use either method in the exam. Let's look at D. Let's put D running out of space. I'm going to put D down here. I want 3% of 60. So 3% is 3 divided by 100. Of means multiply, so 3 divided by 100 multiplied by 60. 3 over 100 is 0.03. It is not 0.3. Don't make that mistake. That's a common one. And then multiply that by 60. And if I work that through, I get the answer of 1.8, not 18 and not 0.18. So make sure you can get that answer. If I were you, maybe if you did it using one method, using the grid, use the second method with the decimal. If you did the decimal method, use the grid method. See if you can do both. Check you can get the same answer each time.